coagulating. Circuits all fry, man, I can't lie. Nuts and bolts run deep, can't deny. Bake up high, eat the sky, Yoda's such a small fry. Fry, 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 fry. I got human-cyborg relations and a case of severe constipation. Wake up, drink my boost without salutation. My bowels surrender like the French nations. Examine my gears, they're coagulating. Circuits all fry, man, I can't lie. Nuts and bolts run deep, can't deny. Bake up high, eat the sky, Yoda's such a small fry. Fry, 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 fry. I got human-cyborg relations and a case of severe constipation. Wake up, drink my boost without salutation. My bowels surrender like the French nations. Examine my gears, they're coagulating. Circuits all fry, man, I can't lie. Nuts and bolts run deep, can't deny. Bake up high, eat the sky, Yoda's such a small fry. Fry, 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 fry. I got human-cyborg relations and a case of severe constipation. Wake up, drink my boost without salutation. My bowels surrender like the French nations. Examine my gears, they're coagulating. Circuits all fry, man, I can't lie. Nuts and bolts run deep, can't deny. Bake up high, eat the sky, Yoda's such a small fry. Fry, 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 fry.
Yeah, cool. Put it back on. Yeah, hello everybody. Welcome to the second episode of the Bricks in Motion workshop. I believe that's the name of the video. Oh yeah, it says it on there on screen. What am I saying about? Yeah, I am William of AW Studios. We've got two guests. Well, one of them's me, and we've also got Bertel as well. And we'll be kind of going through the sort of we'll be watching your submissions today, and we've also got I think Chris and Sean are also sort of with us at the moment as well.
Hello.
So yeah, we decided that we wanted to just provide a bit of intro context for this. Because we got some feedback from the first workshop stream, because obviously we're still just figuring out the format, I would say.
Yeah, most a little bit of a PSA, just talking about moving forward and everything. And last stream, the first episode was for the most part great. It was awesome, a lot of great constructive feedback and everything. But we do want to talk about there were a couple little instances that I guess rubbed people the wrong way a little bit. And it was primarily in the chat. There were a couple, comments that were made about brickfilms that were a little bit more dismissive than they should have been.
But the thing is, I'd say for the most part, the chat was constructive, but there was just a couple of points at which it felt like it was leaning a little bit into being snarky or roasting. And, we don't want the chat to be a peanut gallery, roasting brickfilms.
Yes, it was a 3-hour stream, and literally we're talking about a handful of comments. So the majority of the time it was great. But yeah, like what we want to do is, even if it's the type of brick film we're not interested, that you personally aren't interested in, don't use that as a justification for being like, oh, I'm just gonna dunk on it or whatever. Like, even if it's a brick film, like a type of brick film you're not interested in, like take it as an opportunity to be like, oh, well, here's how you can improve on the technical aspects or whatever. So we just wanted to, mention that.
And it wasn't just one person or anything. Like, it was just kind of a general vibe at points. But basically, yeah. So it's good if the chat is constructive, but the chat should just be very clinical. No personality.
Yeah. So don't be dunking on people. Being dismissive and just using people's brick films as a way to joke on stuff.
So of course, going forward, we'll try to be quicker to time people out if we think they're getting a bit snarky.
Yep. Also, oh my! Apparently, Edbound is doing a Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon watching your videos at the same time. So great timing, everybody.
We're gonna have 0 views.
Oh no, we're about to have 0 views on this. But yeah. So what was it? There was something else I was gonna say. Dang it, I forgot. But
no destructive criticism. Yeah, that's a good way of describing it.
The other thing I did want to say as well is that, like, on the flip side of that, like, take into account that, not everyone is going to like your brick film or, have entirely positive things to say about it. Like, we don't want to come across as like, oh, you guys are just too sensitive or whatever. But at the same time, like, not everyone is going to like your brick film. And I think, like, take that into account, assuming that they're, providing, criticism in a constructive way. Like, it's not the end of the world if somebody doesn't like your brick film.
The thing is, we came up with the idea for the workshop streams because we've kind of been thinking for a while, like, Bricks in Motion used to be very much like really pushing towards constructive criticism on like pretty much everything, and when we feel like that helped us out on our own journeys, like in the earlier years, we were brick filming. But it's kind of felt like as time has gone on and more people are just used to YouTube comments just saying nice job, nice, great, nice, nice animation, and that's kind of it often feels like that's what people want to hear. So it began to feel like there was a bit of a disconnect when people would show up to Bricks in Motion, they'd post something, we'd start doing constructive criticism like we always did. It seemed like people were like taken aback or surprised, or they didn't want to hear it, or they just wanted to make excuses rather than take it into account like how people used to. But so then I think we got a bit more hesitant to provide constructive criticism unless people directly asked for it. But then it got to a point where, like, sometimes we'd see people in other places saying stuff like, oh, I posted my stuff on Bricks in Motion, I didn't get any feedback, I didn't get anything good. So we're sort of thinking like, okay, there are still people who want to hear it. It's just it's harder to know like when people want to hear it or not. So we thought, okay, we should do this, set up this stream format where people submit, like, they submit to the stream with the knowledge that this stream is for constructive feedback, constructive criticism, and like, because this is geared towards constructive criticism, we will be like even more nitpicky than we would be in general, like in a regular context. So like that is expected.
Yeah. So take it in stride, it's none of it's personal attack, but at the same time, be nice, be polite, and also take into account that sometimes people in pure text form can come across a little bit harsher than they intend to be, and take that into account when you're typing stuff out. So yeah, and also Lanali Visual Arts, I believe, was it like 15 films are in this one?
I think we got 14.
14.
So, yeah.
I think that's the last thing that we need to address is that. Another bit of feedback we got from the last stream was there was too many films, and it felt like we were rushing through them because we knew we had so many films to get through. So, some people said like, "Oh, you didn't get to go in depth on all of them as much as you should." So we decided, okay, for the second stream, we'll, instead of putting the submission out on all platforms, we'll just keep it Discord only and intentionally get a smaller number of submissions. So that's what we have here, and like. Depending on how it goes in the future, maybe we will, put it on YouTube Community tab or somewhere else. But for this one, we're trying out a smaller number intentionally.
Yep. So stream will only be around 2 hours, hopefully. So cool. I guess Penta and I will get out of the way and let you guys do your thing.
Yeah, I think that's all our context. So Bert and William, you can take it away.
Thank you.
All right. Have fun, you guys. Enjoy.
Bye.
Enjoy the stream, guys. Yeah. So
Yeah, you go.
without further ado, we'll start. I think it said Bert that you're hosting.
Yeah, I'm the host. Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, if you actually, it might be easier if I host, just because I'll be kind of pointing out specific things in the video and stuff.
How do I make you a host? Should I just do this and then maybe you can?
Oh, I am now the host.
I think you're the host.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm coming back.
Yeah, so we'll start off with the first film in the playlist, and also something I think we did previously in the last stream is we kind of we didn't show like all of the we showed all the films, but we didn't like go through like everything, like show the entire films all the time. We do have like a smaller number, so we'll have a chance to watch more of the films, and see them more in a full context. But yeah, we'll start off with the Nightmare of the Daleks Part 2 by TXZ or TXZ, here goes.
Remember what we're here for. We're here to find Barry.
We don't even know if he's even here.
No! Exterminate! Ah! Our sensors detected item code SSD is still somewhere here in this proximity.
Shulk, what are you looking at? Oh my god, that's Barry!
Holy crap! We actually found him?
He's dead. It's as if his body has been struck by an electric bolt of power or something. Just what on earth could have done something like this to Barry?
Exterminate all living humans spotted. They are to be exterminated. Our readings have successfully located where the human life forms are. Go to them at once. They must be exterminated. I obey.
I knew it. I should have never came here in the first place. And for what? To see a dead body?
At least we'll be able to give his family some closure now.
I know it's been a tough day. We ought to get some sleep.
Hold on. Did you hear that?
Hear what?
That noise just now. It came from over there.
I heard it. We should check it out. Wes, you coming?
Why bother? I've already wasted enough time for one day. You two can go. I'm stay here and sleep.
All right then.
Huh? What the hell are you supposed to be?
I don't see anything.
We both know the noise came from over there.
You know, earlier today, I couldn't shake off this odd feeling I had.
What do you mean?
I felt as if someone was watching us earlier.
Well, I thought that...
What was that?
It sounded like West. Come on.
There was only one human life form found here. The other two human life forms must be nearby. Find them.
Okay, nice. So I think there's a couple of things I'd probably sort of like came to mind sort of straight away. Is that like I think that
William, I'm not hearing you.
oh, can you hear me?
Oh no, I think it's a problem on my side. Just a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, stream chat. Let me know if you can hear me. I think it seems to be coming out. But yeah. Is that? Yeah, I'll just kind of start off, I guess. Is that coming through? Ooh, one second.
Hello.
Can you? Oh, they can hear me. Okay, cool. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Yeah. So yeah, one of the first things that kind of came to my mind was that there's I think something that can really add a lot to like the atmosphere in the film would be to add more kind of like, I guess, like ambient sound. There are points where there's like quite sort of dramatic scenes in the film where and there's like the sort of like, I guess, in terms of the actual pacing itself, having some more ambient sort of sounds and working on the mixing a bit more, you would add a lot to it, just to kind of just to make it kind of pace. And also I think as well, maybe having some music at times. It's not like music isn't always essential. It is more of a creative choice whether or not to use music at a certain point. Sometimes it can be more effective to not have music, especially if it's like, if you're using like if you sometimes it can be better to do that than have like an overused kind of like dramatic kind of music kind of thing. But I think in this situation, it may have added something to have like some music at certain scenes for like dramatic cues. The voice acting was pretty good. I think, especially obviously, like, you got Jay Silver on there as well, who's obviously always great.
Yeah.
And I believe that was Jay Silver.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, cool. And I do like the I think that it's like, again, some of the mixing, like I think he was quite low in the mix.
I feel there was a large difference between the volumes of the different voice actors. Also, I feel like, and I'm not sure if this is correct, but it felt like the whole film was mixed with one singular audio track, like because we never really heard many sound effects at the same time. So I don't know if that might be a restriction of the software he's using.
Maybe. Yeah, actually, funny enough, that kind of reminds me of using Windows Movie Maker, and that had that kind of thing, of where you could only use one track.
Yeah,
because
if that is the case with this software, I would say if you can only do one track at a time, try to look into if you can export the film and then import it again, and then maybe you can use a second audio track or something like that, because I think the biggest detractor for me was lack of ambience, as you said. And I do think it would be very helpful to add some more just environment noises, just to fill up the silences a little bit and make everything flow together.
I think that there are also points I kind of want to point out, like something that I did really like, that there were points where, like, the quieter moments where you did have like some ambience. Like there was a point where it was showing the camp, and it had like the sound of like insects and things, like the kind of outdoor at night kind of ambient sound, and I think that was a really that was a really good decision. And I think that, like, having that kind of adding stuff like that adds a lot. I think maybe it might be an issue with the software that you're using, if you can kind of combine like Bert said, just exporting it and then having more. But yeah, I did like what you did there, especially with I like the actual kind of almost B-roll shots that happens. I think it's
What do you
like,
mean?
oh yeah, like I think it's towards here where there's like that little animal that looks at the poo and then walks away. I like that bit.
It adds a little bit to the world. Anything apart from the audio that you want to comment on?
Yeah, so that's kind of the main thing that came to mind. I think that there's I guess the set design as well. Like, even though it's quite simple, there is stuff I like about it. Like I like the kind of the way that you've just used like 2 base plates for the like 2 small like blue kind of plate pieces for the like tent.
For the tent, yeah.
Yeah. I think that you've done some good things when it comes to I'm still saying you because I think TXC is actually in the chat. But I think that TXC did a good job of using quite sort of, I guess, minimal kind of Lego, but in a way that I think works quite well.
Very effective.
Yeah.
One thing about I like the whole sets, all of the sets. I like the Daleks. I think a lot of that was very very effective, very good. One thing I would say about this film is maybe try to set up your shots a little bit different, because a lot of the time we're looking down on the minifigs, and it feels like almost the whole film is shot the same way. So I think it would help to try to lower the camera a little bit to put it on the same level as the minifigs. I think that would help. Yeah,
I think a lot of it's shot from like a high angle, and generally, I think that low angle can look really nice, especially if you're trying to kind of show, like the Daleks being an imposing force and things like that, and also just having a general kind of like shot variety as well, having more variety of kind of like close-up shots, and also I guess like everything from like the sort of the type of shot it is, and also the kind of angle of the camera can go towards like sort of telling, having some kind of purpose in terms of the storytelling aspect of it. So but do we want to I guess move on to the second one?
Yeah, sure.
I think the next one actually might be copyright blocked by Discord, so we're gonna if there's any that we're not able to watch like right now, we will kind of I'll open it up like an extra window on YouTube, and we'll watch them at the end. Just as a skipping video. Does it automatically skip? Oh yeah. Cool.
This was.
Cool. So we got a video by, I think it's Orbital Lizard Studios.
Yep. It was in chat.
Yeah, and I believe that he actually kind of Orbital Lizard Studios kind of explains stuff in the video. So I'll let Orbital Lizard explain this for us.
Take it away, Orbital.
So this was an abandoned brick film from around May of this year, and I was animating it out of order, so the couple crappy drawings you see were gonna be animated later. And also there's no audio, so enjoy.
Very interesting title.
Nice. I love that scar.
Yeah, I love that shot where he's further away. It's not sort of like a mini scale.
Yeah. And I think you're using like jump cuts to make it kind of like blend, sort of seamlessly. Nice. I think the drawings kind of remind me of. Oh, okay, that's it.
Yep.
That was really interesting. Like visually, like there's some. I don't know if you plan to do more with that, but like I feel like it's a good start to something interesting. I like with the drawings. I was kind of interested because it kind of looks like potentially he was going for like a Mario kind of thing where like like in the
sort of the Mario overworld.
Yeah. It's kind of like trippy Mario in a way.
Yeah. He even has the hat.
Yeah.
I was very intrigued by the start. There's a lot of machinery and I'm not sure that the stuff with the eyes. It looked very interesting. I do feel a bit like the intro was very intriguing, and then everything we saw after was basically a guy walking. Of course, this is unfinished, but I do feel like the opening really caught me, and then I was wondering where it was going, and then it was just a guy walking.
Yeah.
So of course this is unfinished, so we can't really. I can't really comment on the stuff that isn't there, but it's a great setup, and I'm kind of disappointed that it didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I think it's I think it really kind of shows as well, like I mean, I could kind of imagine the music and kind of the sort of like ensemble kind of sound design that would kind of go with that.
Water streaming and
and it's a great kind of build up towards like the beginning of like a story. I would say that the amount of like walking and stuff that you see in it, like if you're going to take it just by itself, like it's the majority of the film is walking, but obviously it's not a finished film. I think that obviously just something that we kind of talk about quite a lot in terms of like making sure that like when it comes to pacing of things, with that walk type of stuff, is like it's making sure it's purposeful. I think this is kind of an example of where like it actually is kind of it has it does have some purpose, especially because there is like as he is kind of as the character is kind of like progressing along, moving along, you're kind of seeing him kind of like experience the world around him, and I think it's got as well. There is a lot to. I kind of feel like this is probably an example. I think we've mentioned this like previously, like in the podcast, of that kind of film where it's like there isn't too much to say because it is just really good.
That's true. But I do want to point out one of the some stuff that is maybe other people could take inspiration from. One of the things is the backdrop. I think it's purple instead of like the usually you would see blue or something like that. And this shows that you don't really have to use blue per se. It's really it makes the purple makes for a really interesting contrast color palette.
I think that it's like and it immediately is eye catching. I think it's kind of as well you're kind of immediately kind of it feels like otherworldly and sort of weird in the best way. and I think that it's sort of like it also shows you how how much you don't really need like a huge amount of Lego or like the most amazing set in order to do something really interesting with just a little bit of effort, like having colored lighting and having like just like I guess purposeful lighting and just how much like an interesting backdrop can really just change the atmosphere of something. There's a good shot variety as well. I think especially that's also very important when you're talking about like something which is more like someone walking around is for it to in order for it to be purposeful and also have like good pacing, having a variety of shots, like we have like that kind of extreme close up with his head like walking around, like it's it really adds visual variety. That's really important. Another thing I wanted to point out as well, I really like the way that you used there's like kind of like shot from above, there's like I think they call like a bird's eye view, where he's kind of going up like a top down, and there's this like water flowing and it's using like little kind of, I think it's like a piece of like plastic or something, like maybe like plastic wrapper or like film or something, and it's kind of like,
I think it's something like that.
And it's kind of flowing along. That was really good as well. I really like that.
It's a really interesting way to do water without using, I don't think it was Lego or anything like that, so just using plastic wrap or something like that. That was really interesting creative decision.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one, which I think it started playing, which is Johnny Thunder and the Pond of
Possible Perishment.
Possible Perishment. Okay, cool.
According to Mac, the lost trinket of moderate density isn't far away. That duck is looking at me funny.
What are you talking about?
I bet you it's one of the Baron's spies.
You have stumbled into my elaborate pond.
So the duck was there to lure me into your trap?
No, the duck was just a regular duck.
Well, it looks like this has all been a terrible misunderstanding. May I leave?
No, we have been waiting for this moment for a very long time. Years ago, your grandfather's friends, uncles, sisters, husbands, roommates, ex-wife dogs, previous owners, mums, nephews, tortoise sitters, lawyers, Windows cleaning, marriage counselors, 7 ex-husbands, locksmiths, mechanic, archaeologists, and stumbled into our territory and escaped. Now we want revenge.
And what did that archaeologist ever do to you?
He had a finer moustache than even ourselves. The penalty for this is a long and painful death. He escaped, but now the associated have so unwittingly wandered into our domain, we can have our revenge. Let the ritual commence.
Buenos dias. I'd like to inquire about my adventurer's warranty. See, yes, he drowned. Yes, I'm fairly sure. He'd been submerged in a pond for 5 minutes in the manner that a drowned person would. Ay, Dios mío! The warranty expired a minute ago. He died 5 minutes ago. Yes, but he died within the warranty. But there is a trinket I really want to liberate from his legitimate resting place. Can I just have a new adventurer free of charge? What about the American fellow with the weep?
Now, we let him burn.
Oh, I meant to be burning.
Stop burning literally. You are metaphorically burning, of course.
Oh, right. This isn't so bad.
And now, death by motorized tree dismember.
Run away! Quick, patch the rope.
No rope, unfortunately. We got halfway there and realised the engine was missing. We found an old bloke who sold engines and sometimes Audi owned brand Jaffa cakes. So we traded the rope for a mega value 10 pack. Just have to jump a bit higher.
Come a bit lower.
Bill, go a bit lower.
Is that a rabbit, Bill? That's just my pet rabbit, Jeremy. I hate rabbits, Bill.
Okay, nice. Yeah, just to respond to Sleepender, just to clear up, this is the it is the audio in the film that's very low.
Yeah.
And I actually do have a lot of positives to say about the film, so I'm gonna kind of start off with the negative first, or like the more critical first. Of like, I think that like the mixing is like an issue. I think that Victorious actually is on in chat has kind of acknowledged that. It is very hard to hear them at certain points. I had to actually kind of like up the volume myself a bit, but then there's also like some very loud like jump scary kind of sounds. But apart from the audio, which I mean is a significant, like it is, is important, I do actually really like it. There is a lot of like it is really funny. It has a kind of old timey kind of feel to it. I kind of feel like it's the type of thing that I can Bert, I can imagine that you kind of really liking.
Oh yeah, I've really enjoyed this film.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things to like about it. I really like the sense of humor in this film. At the start with him doing his funny speech, and then he's going like, "That duck is looking at me funny." That sort of stuff is just really great. I agree with you that I think actually the biggest issue I have with this film is the audio being so soft and imbalanced. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. I like the couple of live action shots in there with the water, and at the end of the film, the guy falling to his demise, and then just
that was
splattering all over the place. Yeah,
I love that one. And and I think as well, like there's certain kind of like I think that there is a variety of sets in the film as well. That like they're quite simple sets, but in it really feels like there's a classic kind of feel to it. Like there's a like it feels like it's like harking back to kind of brick films from like 2005, 2006, kind of like that kind of sets where like they're simple sets, but they're like they absolutely do what they need to do.
They really they're really effective in being setting the tone for the film. And one thing I do think is some of the action wasn't always as clear as it could have been. I'm thinking mainly the sort of the fight scene at the end where Johnny Thunder escapes. It was a bit hard to follow. Also, him falling into the pond and going underwater, that was a bit too fast. I think I feel it was a bit sort of like a blink and you'll miss it moments where it could have been paced a little better overall. So I think that's something maybe for future films to look out for, that to to basically show the action you're doing, make sure it really flows well, and the audience has a chance to understand and see what's going on.
Yeah, I think definitely, like, I think to kind of sort of also going with that, like, you know, sometimes things are like a bit too quick. I think there's probably moments as well where like things kind of like maybe go on for a little bit too long. At the same time, like, I think there's some moments where and this is something which does take time to kind of like, you know, to really notice. I think when it comes to like, I guess editing your brick films, which is just like, you know, just like sometimes you want to cut off like maybe a few frames, you know, earlier, or like, you know, want to cut off you know, just to get it to kind of like maybe get a joke to land, or get the pacing to land just right.
It's always difficult to with comedy to get the timing right. So it's a challenge.
Yeah, and then there were certain points where, I mean, it is also, you know, there are certain points where like if the kind of humor of it is like funny enough, like it just works. Like I think the there's that kind of looping animation where it's just like his moustache going crazy, and because it's such a funny visual, like it and even though it kind of goes on for a long time, it kind of just it kind of works because it is funny. But
I will say that in that scene in particular, though, it's I would have liked some, maybe the framing could have been a little better, or maybe have a cut to Johnny Thunder when he's speaking. It could have done with a little bit more shot variety, I suppose.
Actually, just to kind of correct, just to make a correction. Apologies to British followers. I don't think you actually looped the animation. I think that was maybe misremembering. As I was watching it again, then I was like, actually, didn't actually loop it, but it was just kind of like, I guess what I mean is like the shot kind of goes on for a long time, and it's kind of just like, you know, there's that going up and down. But I generally find that that's like, it's funny, you know, it kind of
it works. It works.
That's not criticism at all. But I think that one other thing, like I think, like you're pointing out then, is like, I think, you know, just being kind of aware of like the shots, that there is like a, you know, somewhat of a variety. I think with like there are some like close-ups and some sort of wider shots and stuff. But I think that there were certain moments like I think like in this in the shot that we're kind of on the moment, where like just be aware of like what you actually want to have in frame, because there's like on the right there is a bit of sort of dead space. You don't really see very much, and then like Johnny Thunder is actually kind of like cropped out a little bit on the left. So just kind of be aware of that kind of thing when it comes to like positioning a shot and sort of like setting up a shot. Like just give it a couple more seconds of just to look at it and think like maybe it needs to be just like moved slightly to the left, that kind of thing. But otherwise, this is I really enjoyed this. This was good.
Yeah.
But I think we'll move on to the next film, which 1 second. Lego Mario?
Question mark.
This one's a very short one, but we'll give it one.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that was really cute.
Yeah.
By the way, that was by the OkayAnimator. And I do want to kind of point out that this one is quite old. It's 4 years old. And I think that generally we probably want probably prefer to have more kind of recent brick films being submitted. But I do want to kind of like I'm quite happy to kind of at least highlight this a little bit. It's only got, I think, it's got less than 200 views, and it's really well. I think it's really well animated. It's got some nice kind of it's got some really nice effects. I think like the Goomba and the flower and all that kind of stuff. It's also kind of like, I think the 2D effect, like it's translated the kind of 2D aesthetic of like Mario really well. And I think the actual effects as well, the Goomba like going beyond the screen and everything, it's all done really really well.
I was really the part where he grows and comes out of the screen. That's probably my favorite shot of the whole thing. Very well done. I do feel like at the this part really cool. I do feel like at the end when they're fighting, it feels a bit like every shot has a little bit of animation, but it doesn't really. Yeah.
I think that what I would say is like, I think towards the end, like it kind of it kind of feels like it kind of everything happens quite quickly. And it took me a couple times like to watch this to kind of to fully get quite what happens at the end. Like I think that I don't quite. I guess he dies because of like the fall.
I think that's what's going on, or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that seems to make sense. But yeah, like that's. I think it's one of those kind of things where, because it goes by very quickly, it's quite sort of. It takes a couple of viewings to kind of fully get what happens. And I think that it's kind of one of these sort of things. Like, I mean, there are a lot of brick films that are kind of very short. It's something that we kind of I think mentioned in the past. Whereas like 30, this is 28 seconds long, and it's kind of one of those things where like, does it have to be 28 seconds long? I mean, it could very easily. Like, I think if it was just like maybe like another 20 seconds long, probably could have had some sort of like you probably would have been able to pace it in such a way where like it was kind of more clear. If you take another, or even just 10 seconds longer, you give yourself a little bit more breathing room to set up all the action and really make it clear to the audience what's going on, what's happening. And I think as well, because it's such a creative and really kind of fun concept, that it kind of there's like potential for it to continue for a bit longer. Like there are a couple of scenarios that could have happened in the, like maybe in the real world that could have like expanded on from like what we saw. And again, I guess a lot of the criticism that I have for this is it's kind of based on the idea that like this is really good, and we're more. I guess there is a point where like when something is like really good, we might kind of nitpick on sort of very specific things. None of this is like hugely like problematic issues with the thing. It's like it kind of it works very well as it is. But there's kind of a couple of things that I kind of observations that I felt with the with watching it.
Yeah. But overall, as you say, it's very good. It's very fun. I enjoyed it.
Nice. Yeah. So we'll move on to the next one.
Also before because you said at the start that this is quite an older film. It's 4 years, uploaded 4 years ago. The reason we're looking for more recent stuff is because we're it feels a bit weird to give feedback to something that was made years ago, because possibly this animator has already fixed any issues that we're talking about, and so that's why we're always looking for more recent stuff to comment on, because then we're commenting on you as an animator as you are now, as opposed to commenting on stuff you might have fixed years ago.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good point. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. but yeah, kind of, I guess, yeah. So we'll move on to the next one, which is, I think, a big minifig battle. Yeah. Oh, I just need to make sure I put the sound on again.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I mean, there's quite, there's quite, I guess, you kind of do a variety of things with the kind of like, within that kind of fight, sort of different scenarios and stuff going on. Something I do want to kind of point out right off the bat is that I think that there's, I guess, when it comes to like the sort of builds, and it's kind of like, for me, I kind of, when I'm listening, it's a bit distracting, because I can kind of see that it feels very much like, I don't know, the base plate feels very noticeable because it feels quite stark. And it's like the builds themselves are a bit kind of like, it feels a bit random. It doesn't really feel like there's, I don't quite know what the build is supposed to kind of represent, whether it's supposed to be like buildings or
so at some points I've felt like maybe it's supposed to take place in a warehouse or something like that, but it's not really all that clear. But I will say that sort of to counter your argument, it doesn't really. It's a fun fight film, so I guess the setting isn't really the main priority, but it is something that you could think about more as an animator, like where is this taking place? Because one of the things that this animation does very well is make use of the environment, like taking up the bricks and throwing them, or people hiding behind bricks. And if you build, if you have a setting, if you think about the setting and take that into account, you can really do some interesting stuff there. So that's sort of a missed opportunity, I guess.
I mean, you could even with the set that you have, there was even stuff that you could have done with the setting. Like I think, yeah. Do you do anything with the bottle? I was just gonna double check now, actually. Yeah, because I just seeing like in the frame all now, like there's like the trash can and the bottle, and it kind of feels like when I see that in a fight, I kind of feel like I'm expecting that to be like to be a part of the actual fight. Like
Yeah,
someone's gonna fall near the bottle and then grab the bottle and then throw that or something. You know, like
yeah, sort of a Chekhov's gun situation.
yeah.
I will say there's a lot of really cool little character animation flourishes that I really liked, like the Spidey sense or the whirlwind. There's a lot of good animation in here. And I think animation-wise, I don't really have anything to comment on or nitpick on.
There was a shot. I'm trying to find the actual frame now. The actual like sort of the time, but there was there's a shot then I think where Batman kind of falls, and the actual kind of like animation of that is pretty good. It's quite nice, kind of like, you know, falling kind of animation, like that.
There's some, like, bounces and
there is a kind of there's a gravity to the and weight to that. There is like a variety of I think that like obviously they're very different brick films, but like I think we were talking about the Mario film earlier. It kind of feels like it's a very simple concept, but like there is a variety of like things going on and like different scenarios with this, which is like I think that that's kind of like something which, you know, it takes advantage of the setting and the concept, you know, of that.
I do think that some of the camera work feels a little I guess floaty or something. Like sometimes the camera moves sideways a little bit and tries to follow, and it feels a little bit I don't know, it doesn't really work in favor of the film or something like that. Especially when he's following Red Guy at around like I think 24 seconds, something like that.
I'll try and find that. 24 seconds.
Yeah, there's a couple of like sideways moves. Over here, like that it feels a little bit like almost distracting or something like that.
Yeah, I think that I've noticed that kind of trend in some brick films, especially in ones that are more like action focused. That there's this kind of sort of like a tendency to kind of do a lot of kind of moving the camera in ways when it's like following the the character's movements directly, and sometimes I think that can be overused, and it sort of it kind of feels a bit kind of like it's one of those things which if you're going to do, you kind of want to do sparingly, and it's kind of you want to kind of ask yourself like what's the actual purpose of that particular kind of situation, because I think that in a lot of ways when you're doing the kind of those kind of shots where like your camera is following someone, sometimes it can actually look a lot better to not directly match the speed of that character, and allow it to like maybe the camera to move in one frame, maybe move like beyond, like, you know, move faster than the character, or maybe you could go the other way where like the character is moving faster than the camera. And that can make it feel that can also, I'd say that's kind of more like what they would do generally in kind of sort of live action films.
Definitely. I think overall that's I think maybe my only criticism of the film is maybe being mindful of your camera work, or how you use shot composition, things like that. Because overall it was very I liked all the animation was really good. The fighting, it stayed interesting, it stayed fresh. Sound was great, sound design was very good. Yeah, overall, I just like this one.
Nice. Yeah, so we'll move on now to the next one, which is I think Lego John Wick short brick film.
Yep.
The short one. Cool.
That's around. That's next. Yeah, this was by Bossman 12. Yeah, Bossman 12.
Oh yeah. Apologies. Sometimes I'll try and remember to mention to credit the person as well. Actually, the previous film as well was by this guy Dylan. That was Big Mini Big Battle. Yeah, just but yeah, this one was has like I want to kind of highlight the main thing that I really liked, the shots where it has like the flashing light effect was really good. That's a great way of kind of really adding atmosphere and that looks really good. And I think the way that you can kind of get away with it's a kind of it's kind of a very kind of creative way of getting away with not doing that much animation. And it's like doing that kind of like where you can sort of jump from one like action to the next and it in a way where it's quite I think sometimes a criticism that can be made about some action scenes in like action brick films is that sometimes everything happens a bit too quickly. And it's always there might be a lot of like fighting going on all at once. Like I could definitely see a version of that where like without the lighting effect, where he just like shoots like those 4 people and it's like it happens all very quickly. What I like about this is you're able to kind of pose the kind of each shot very well, and it makes it very sort of there's a lot of clarity in that. So that was really good. Overall, I think the actual kind of like the aesthetic of it, the lighting and everything, it looks really good. I do kind of wonder like what's your thought, Bert, on the having like very clearly kind of like digital kind of like smoke effect like on the guns. What's your opinion on that?
Well, in this case, I thought it was it worked well, but it's always tricky because it can be a bit jarring at times. In this case, I think it was subtle enough or small enough that it didn't really distract. But sometimes you have it can be really distracting because it's such a different style, different vibe from Lego. So
I think it's something to kind of be cautious of, I think, sometimes with like that kind of thing, because it can be quite it can be quite distracting. I think this was more subtle, but there are like I think especially with some effects, like if it's like explosions and things like that, when they're using like digital effects, especially being aware of like the kind of effects that are quite high frame rates, because you don't want that to kind of distract from the the kind of more kind of choppiness of like stop motion. Because if say something is shot like in 12 FPS or 24 and 2s, it's going to be a lot choppier than like an explosion effect or smoke effect kind of thing. But I do kind of like the way in which like the flashing of the lightning, it kind of like the smoke is kind of there when when it's kind of dark and it's kind of like, you know, it's
Yeah.
sort of, yeah, that was good. I am kind of aware now. I think we're kind of like the halfway point at least time wise for like our goal. We've got a few films kind of yet to go, so I think we'll probably move on to the next one, which is how everyone reacted to the new Multiverse movie by Cromo,
who is also in chat.
Yeah.
What the f***, bro?
I'm gonna try and stop the videos before they actually get to the next one. But R.I.P. people wearing headphones. One thing I do like about this was the way you know, like the executives that like in the kind of headquarters, like the way they're positioned is such a weird way. It kind of it has a kind of surreal look to it. It kind of reminded me of something which Orbital Lizard Studios would do.
I
do kind of like the way in which it's quite an abrupt ending, but I think that it kind of works. Like it kind of adds to the comedy a little bit, like where it's like this build up, and he just kind of like gives a letter and then just walks away.
Yeah. Sort of, it's sort of, how do you call it? Sort of anti-payoff or something like that. Yeah. I liked it. There's the running was really cool. I feel like overall it was very comically animated or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, very, very over the top, very him sitting behind the computer and doing the typing is very exaggerated. Overall I thought this was good animation.
Yeah, I liked it. Again, it's not like huge amount because again these are some of these are very short. But I think it did what it wanted to do, and it was I think it was I liked it. It was good.
Yeah. So one thing I will say is the shot where he's sitting behind the computer and you're looking at him. That I feel like there's a lot of dead space in the framing of that shot, so that it might have been could have been a little bit more tight or better framed.
Okay, that's interesting. Tenacious Brick saying about how he kind of goes from running left to right and then kind of back into the room from right to left.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Was that like him going from leaving the house to him going to the other building?
Well, he left the house and then when he was running left to right.
Yeah.
And then when he came in, he came in from the right side, and I do agree with the Tenacious Brick that it feels a bit like breaking the continuity of going from left to right.
Yeah, I think that's an easy thing to like an easy thing to like forget about. And then when you kind of notice it, it's like, oh yeah, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we'll move on to A Long Day by avbricks. This is for Brick Film Day 2024. It's another short one. Nice.
Yeah,
that was
short
cute.
and sweet. Yeah, I liked the opening shot with the miniature animation. Always, I love when it goes miniature. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was cute. I like the shots. There's like kind of quite nice shot variety. I like the close-ups. I really like that shot where he kind of takes that, the pocket. He goes through his like shirt pocket and gets his phone out. Like that's a nice shot.
Yeah.
I would say that there's some. I think there's a point where I think some of the close-ups might be zoomed in a lot, digitally. I don't know quite what camera you're using with this. I think this is done maybe on a webcam. Judging by the shot composition, I think this is done with animation software and stuff. One thing you want to be aware of is when it comes to doing close-ups is trying to get the camera as close as you can to in camera, and then if you do crop in post, just so that you have to do a minimal amount, just because I think there are some shots where it's it looks a bit kind of compressed and distorted.
Yeah, you can sometimes tell that it's been digitally zoomed in, and you can tell it's a bit more grainy. It's a bit more,
The light.
I think.
Yeah, you got to say.
Yeah, I like the lighting. So, as somebody in chat said, it's really awesome.
Yeah.
One of the things that putting on the record kind of made me think of one of your films.
Oh, right, okay.
That's one criticism I would have is some of the animation. It feels a bit jittery. Some of I think when he takes out his phone and puts it on the table, it feels a bit. A bit jittery, a bit like the arm is moving all over the place or something. That's something that I think could be a bit more. Could have been avoided with a little bit more care during the animation itself.
On an initial watch, when I first watched this, I thought the kind of tinniness of the music was kind of maybe a flaw, but I don't know if it's kind of that's an intentional thing because it's coming from the record player.
My idea was that it was because it came from the record player, but I feel like when you move into the second half, the music video part, at that point maybe turn up the volume or give it a full rich volume, because then you're inside the world of the music, so it would make sense for the music to sound rich and full.
I actually did a very similar thing, I guess talking about specifically a film that I did that used a record player. There's my film The Track Attract. I did a thing where in the first so there's a scene in the house when the record is playing, and it's tinnier because it's kind of diegetic, and it's kind of it's in the scene, it's in the world of the film. The music continues outdoors, but then what I did was I actually as he kind of exits the house and it becomes non-diegetic, it becomes part of the kind of score almost. I switched out the music one layer with this kind of I sort of transitioned it for faded it into the kind of non-tinny kind of sort of full kind of volume version. I think that's something that you could do is have that kind of tinny kind of sound, maybe hold on to the kind of shot of the record player, showing it kind of playing for a couple of seconds just to get the idea that this is in universe and that's the sound of it, and then him sort of being transported then to the kind of music video where it's like it's that full sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, like otherwise, I like this one. This was kind of like short and sweet. And
Yeah.
I really liked it. Speaking of short, there's one now that's actually longer. And just because of like time, and just kind of sort of being aware of time, I'm probably not gonna we're probably not gonna watch like these films now in full. I'm gonna show like the first like couple of minutes of this one. This one's got a lot of this one's pretty impressive. It's called Wedding Crash by Buttermilk Dude. And I'll just get playing now.
In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen.
This isn't the bathroom.
Get him!
Yeah, cool. I'll just stop it there. But yeah, this there's a lot going on in this. First of all, I want to say that the set is really nice. That's a really good build, and I really like the way that they've done little details. Like the cross is really good. I don't know if it's. Yeah. I think it might be. Is it a ring like from like Lord of the Rings that's been? Sort of,
right.
connected?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. That's a really nice build. And the actual build itself, like, is really nice. Like the whole, you got like stained glass and all that kind of stuff. It looks really nice. I think the light, it's very kind of clear and looks really nice. The one thing I did notice, and I guess it's really not like a huge issue, but kind of I guess. I want to kind of bring this up because like the set design generally is really nice. It's like this shot here, like when you see the like exterior and it's kind of very clear, like the kind of the background is very near the kind of where everything's going on. Just a very simple, like even if it's just like a cutout of like mountains out of card or something, could have
just something to give it a bit more sense of this is there's an outside world here, and it's not just there's a wall right behind me, a blue wall. I think that's one thing that he could have improved on.
I'd say as well the kind of the lighting is quite kind of flat in a lot of the film, and there is no kind of like it doesn't feel particularly directional. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's like bad lighting necessarily. It kind of serves its purpose, but it's I think that adding a light, having more kind of directional lighting, more kind of creative lighting can really add so much to the atmosphere.
Exactly. They're in a church, so when you think about light in a church, it's always coming in from big windows, so there's there's always light spots and shadowy spots. And in this film, the lighting is very, as you say, it gets the job done, but it's very basic, very functional. So that's one thing that could have been better.
Yeah. Something else. Yeah, actually, where is it coming from in world? That's an important thing to kind of like ask when you're kind of like setting up lighting. Is like, rather than not just thinking, oh, I can see everything in set, that everything that I need to see like in the shot is there. It's also about like where is that lighting coming from in the world of it, because it looks like everything's coming from the ceiling.
Yeah, exactly.
Which wouldn't be realistic in a church setting.
Also, if you do have something like with shadows, then you could have somebody come out of the shadows and reveal themselves and then take off the helmet. Like this part is very cool, but if you have someone come out of a shadow, then it just it sells the effect so much more of a new player has entered the battle.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of. I will say that a lot of this is very like. I like the animation a lot. The fighting, the some of the poses are really good.
I really like the
fighting
poses,
is really good. Yeah. And the audio really helps sell the effect of these are big swords. They have weight behind them. They really hit hard. So the sound design is great for that in that regard as well.
Yeah, I think that something I did think with the animation is like generally I think the animation is really good. But I think there's points where with some of the kind of with some of the fighting where I think especially things like the falling and stuff like that feels a little bit wooden, and it feels a little bit kind of like there isn't much kind of like fluidity or like kind of impact, it kind of like they get knocked over and then just kind of fall, and it's just like
exactly like most of the when I talked about weight earlier, the sound design does a lot to help sell that, but animation wise it doesn't really always feel as impactful as it could be, or as maybe it should be.
I think the sound design is doing a lot of the work, and I think that is good in a lot of ways because sound design is really important. It is kind of like I'd say about in this situation I'd say it's like it's 60% of like what is of what you're seeing. Like I think that the kind of there's a lot of implied weight to like the sound of like the sword slashing. And it does mean that like while some of the animation might fall like it might fall in some ways, having that sound design there is doing a lot of heavy lifting. So that's definitely commendable. I
remember it's somewhere later in the film, I don't know where, but there's one part where the guy kicks a guard or something, and the guard falls backwards. But the fall backwards is very big, but the kick feels very like just a tiny little kick, like he's kicking a ball or something. So in terms of it doesn't really feel that impactful, even though the guard is really has fallen over. And so when animating, always make sure to if it's a big kick, make it a big kick, and really have him almost fall backwards in terms of how much he's moving with his movements.
There is something which like I think confused me a little bit when I was first watching this. I think it's like towards the end where they kind of they flip a table over and they kind of hide behind the table, but I don't quite know what it leads to, like, because it kind of feels like something's going to happen, like someone's going to try and like throw a projectile or something like there's gonna be like an arrow
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
But like nothing kind of like happens. They just kind of like hide there and then they come out again.
Yeah. There's no real catalyst for him to throw over the table to hide behind it or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like this overall. I think it was there's,
Oh yeah. I had a lot to say about like nitpicky stuff, but overall it's really it's a really well done fight scene. I think there's it's difficult because this is basically a 4.5 minute fight scene, and it's difficult to make a fight scene that goes on for that long to keep it interesting. And I think he did a really good job, like introducing new people fighting, kicking the king in the.
I did like that kind of thing of like where like it's like revealed that like as it goes on, there's like more and more characters are kind of like revealing their allegiance, I guess, and like they take off the mask and it's that's it's got a classic. It's got some real classic kind of like swashbuckling kind of of stuff in it, so it's I feel like it's very much inspired by like kind of action adventure type films and stuff. It was really fun. It
was really he did a great job overall doing the keeping it interesting and keeping things going. Okay,
we're gonna move on to next one, which is a bit shorter. It's called, I think this is like in reference. This is like these are like custom figures by Lanali Visual Arts. I do apologize if I've butchered that name. It's called A Very Special Digital Circus Song in Lego. Okay.
Guys, I set up a musical adventure for you today, but the song starts at 12:30 and I didn't have time to write lyrics. You'll have to make up the lyrics on the spot or suffer a horrible punishment.
What punishment?
12:30!
I can't sing without a script. This is a shampoo bottle.
The song, Pomni!
Contains citric acid, sodium chloride, coca-bitter, propylbenzene, fumic acid, butyl-phenol, methylpropionol, magnesium nitrate.
Sounds delicious.
Methylchloroisothioethylene, and water.
I'm super happy, never savvy when I have my happy mask. Don't break it, Jax, don't break it, Jax, don't break it, Jax, that's all I ask.
What the Kinger?
Sorry, just eating a little banana.
Sunny days and rainbows, getting hugs and petting kitty cats. When you feel down and in the mud, instead of frowning, do a silly dance. Take it away, Zooble.
This is stupid.
Boo! Come on! Let loose those angelic pipes, Zooble!
Zooble's power was terrible, that act was so unbearable. I'm super duper hoping that those limbs are not repairable.
Y'all know me as Kinger, but on the stage I'm singer. Gonna serenade ya, baby, with my old Tony-winning singers.
All right, Pomni, let's bring this hootenanny home with a classic duet.
Gummy Goo?
Rocky.
Gummy Goo! Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're alive!
Rocky.
Rocky!
Down under.
Congratulations! You completed your musical adventure! As your punishment, I am going to mass produce you!
Wait, we're still being punished?
That's the thing about life, Pomni. Sometimes you get mass produced! These scrum-diddly-umptious bumpkins could be yours today!
It ends really abruptly.
Nice.
Really, really fun, really cool. Really creative.
They're these are like custom figures are phenomenal. They're really good. I guess you could I can rewatch the video for the link for that. I really like. I'm not familiar with the show they're based on, but
same.
I do like the kind of the way in which each of the characters are kind of they have like their kind of like different characteristics are kind of portrayed in the, kind of the animation style and everything, and it's they make a weird they do a lot with like the kind of like sort of basic sets, like making it kind of look like a stage, and obviously there's some green screen work there as well, which adds a lot, this is really well animated, and it's got that kind of cartoony energy which it's kind of like kind of going for,
it's really frantic, and audio wise, of course it's based on audio, so it really manages to capture the same tone in the video as there is in the audio, so they did a really good job with that. I do think some of they may have done a little bit more to like sell it as a sort of a stage, maybe sort of like dressed up the set maybe a little bit more, but it doesn't really take away from the film as it is.
I did think then you were going to say that they should have done more to sell it, like it's like you need more of the commercial.
yes You can't just shove the commercial in the last 5 seconds. You gotta announce that. You gotta.
Yeah, they need a sponsorship.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll move on now to let's see. You got you have the next one, or?
I think they did a really good job as well, mixing in live action with animation. I think there's one shot where Pomni gets thrown near the start, and the throwing part is live action, and then she stands up, so it's animation again. And I think that they really managed to combine those two things very well, as opposed to just a lot of times when you see live action shots in stop motion animation, it's a live action shot in between different shots that are stop motion, and in this case it was really blended very well, so very commendable.
It's I think as well, it's like there's often like comedic it can be done for me comedic effect quite well, and I think I really like the part when like that character kind of like falls, like, and it's like like it's like live action falling, like that was really funny. That cracked me up. So we'll move on to next one, which is Salvation by Growth Productions, which is actually a Brawl 2024 entry.
Yep.
They've been chasing me for days now, but I've finally managed to lose them. With home gone, I've been headed towards the last safe place, the city. I've been working my way towards it for weeks. My last hope. I know I'm getting close, because I can see the city lights in the distance. I just have to make it there. I can almost taste the food. It will all be worth it if I can just make it there. I'm so close. Just have to make it. Just have to make it. So close. So close. It'll all be worth it once.
Yeah, that is really good.
Yeah.
That is,
yeah.
There's Orbital Lizard Studios mentioned the flat plane. I mean, how it isn't a flat plane, the set.
Yeah.
Like early on, and I guess it's something which like I don't even think about it because I was just really kind of just like just really in it, like, you know, just really invested in it. But like it's something which you don't really see it a lot in brick films, having that kind of like, and it's so effective. It actually kind of reminds me of there's a set like at the very beginning of you know, The River, that's like by Night Owl, that's like that has that kind of like, you know, where the soldiers are marching and it kind of like a shot, like a low angle shot that's gone like, you know, it goes down, like that's kind of, you know, like I kind of have that kind of vibe get from that.
It's something. It's something that you don't really think about, but Lego being on base plates and stuff, it really lends itself to staying horizontal, staying flat. So it's really cool that he manages to sort of break out of that flatness, out of that horizontality. One thing I will say is that in terms of lighting, like the night scenes are very cool and the fire animation is really impressive, the campfire, and it shines on his face, and that's really cool. But then you go to the daylight scenes and it's very flat, very basic lighting. So it feels a little uneven in terms of how it's lit throughout the film.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be as noticeable if the lighting in the night scenes, it wasn't so good.
It's a really big contrast.
Something which someone else pointed out as well is that like how the fire crackle sound actually matches the kind of animation of the crackle as well. Like that's such a essential thing. It just really adds a really nice touch to it. But yeah, I think it's again, it's that kind of thing, like with the earlier film, The Wedding Crash. Like it's not like necessarily bad lighting with the days scene. It's kind of like it's just not necessarily directional, and it's not like making taking advantage of certain, like, you know, how like shadows can be cast on things. And I think especially with like a forest kind of setting, you know, it could be really atmospheric having that kind of like lights kind of like in patches, you know, where it's kind of like quite dark within the kind of forest, and also as well, you kind of want to be aware of little things like there's some shadows like on the actual the background as well, casting from the trees. Again, that's just, I mean, that is partly kind of how close the background is to the set, but also it can be partly from the position of the lights.
Yeah.
I think you can kind of tell from this kind of shot in particular, like the lighting is kind of being cast from, it's sort of going from the back and kind of being cast like sort of like onto that. So
it's one big overhead light.
Yeah,
yeah. One thing that I also noticed is I think it's in this scene. Most of the film he walks from left to right. We talked about this earlier in the stream, but in this, I feel like I think he almost breaks the 180-degree rule, where in this part he's coming up. He's coming up from the left, but then halfway through the scene, it's sort of the camera crosses the boundary almost, like right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and now he's running away, and then he goes, and now he's running towards the left. So that's one of those things where, in terms of film language, it feels like he's almost running backwards or something like that, back into the forest instead of further towards his destination.
Yeah, I think as well. Like, it's kind of when things like that happen. It's there's a slight difference, deviation in terms of like shot position, and it's like slightly the position of the character is different. What it ends up doing is because you're kind of like your eye is kind of starting to kind of wonder like in terms of like where geographically one shot is from another.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a thing where like you get that kind of thing where it's because it's not immediately recognizable. You start to get a little bit confused about where things are, and like it definitely could be implied that he's just like running back, rather than running towards a, running towards his destination.
Yeah.
So that's just something just to be aware of. It's it is definitely something I could understand. Missing out on when it comes to Brawl, like it's one of those things which could easily forget about. But that's sort of, I guess like minor criticisms. Otherwise, this is a really good film that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, the last shot of the burning city, that's really well done. A really good revelation. Yeah.
A great payoff.
Great payoff. Yeah.
So we'll move on now to Lego Chainsaw Man versus Dragon Devil by the
Mighty Dude.
Mighty Dude, yeah. Again, because this is like a fight scene is quite relatively long. I might just kind of play some of it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Hey, asshole! I don't know who the hell you are, but it's easy enough to tell that you're a bad guy.
Chainsaw Human, I've been looking for you. I am the Dragon Devil. Fight me, and I shall leave your world.
Finally, some action.
Impressive. Tell me, Chainsaw, why are you so set on saving these humans when you could be doing so much more with your body?
I guess this is my life now. Protecting people, it's honestly just for fun. So like it or not, I'm kicking your ass. Miss Makimo praised me all day for it.
Kogi, for someone who has no hope of winning.
What? You really think you got me beat already? Look at me, I'm not dead yet!
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some really impressive animation. There's like like definitely going for like I think they're translating the kind of anime style to Lego really well.
Yeah.
I really like I really like the beginning, like the opening kind of like where like the building gets destroyed. I thought that was really well done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that's really cool.
My one nitpick is that you can basically see beyond the sets and see the map.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of breaking the fourth wall, but not in a intentional way.
Yeah. But the actual like I can see like the use of Mega Blocks for the buildings makes it look different, but it also is what I used to do as well.
Yeah, it helps. It helps sell the feel of a different scale altogether. Yeah.
The actual I really like the animation of the like the dragon as well. I'm assuming he's a dragon.
Yeah.
Like I like the way that he kind of the sort of opening closing of the mouth, the dialogue and everything is good at that. I don't know if it was done digitally or not. I'm assuming it was, but I quite like the way that the chainsaw kind of like goes up and down in his head. Like that was it moves quite like that. That was really good. Kind of would be quite sort of like the obvious thing to do would be to like just have it static, you know. But
exactly. Yeah.
No, that was a nice touch.
Yeah, some good eye for detail. There's one shot where he's around 1:30. Actually, it's coming right up. Basically, when Chainsaw Guy lands, like right here, there's like the smoke behind him. That's really impressive. That's a really nice detail. Yeah.
Kind of
some really cool in camera effects that are in there.
Yeah, I like the kind of use sort of that kind of thing. Really, it takes advantage of the way in which you can exaggerate in animation, having that kind of impact and how it kind of it's something which can go in it can accompany the kind of like impacts kind of thing, like that's that was good. I do really like the way in which like that was really good. I think that one of the things I would say is that like I imagine the set itself is pretty big, and it kind of feels like there were times when I can imagine it being quite difficult to light. But like as I say, like with the shot here, so you can see that with the light ends. Some of the wider shots with the cityscape, it's kind of like you can see like in this frame here, like it's the lighting could do with some work. It's interesting because like when I look at the kind of foreground, I see like this shot of like the character there, like it looks pretty well lit. Like it's actually quite good. It doesn't feel like flat.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just kind of being aware of like when you can actually see like the light kind of like bouncing. You know, it's kind of it's almost there. Like it's almost It's functionally pretty much doing what it should be doing, but it's just like it's like just be aware of like when there's like a big ball of like white in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
One another thing that I noticed is that frame rate wise, it's sort of all over the place. There's a couple of shots where I think when the dragon is picking up one of the guys, it's a shot that feels like 3 frames a second or something, and I feel like I'm not sure why. I don't know if that might be a aesthetic decision or something like that, but sometimes I feel like it almost feels like he forgot to animate it, take enough frames to animate it at the right speed, and then afterwards he had to like slow things down to match the vibe. So that's one of those things where I feel like could have been better.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where like you know, I don't know if there's an argument to be made there where it's going for like an anime style where like certain actions will be very low frame rate, and then the kind of like high frame rate moments are the kind of action sort of set pieces.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's like I don't want to make that sound as though I'm excusing it. Like. But yeah, no. Overall, this was really impressive. I am aware like of like time. I think we've got two more films to watch. They're quite long, so I think we might not watch like the entirety of like both. You know, like we'll watch both films, but you know, while watching them full. This next one, I think potentially might get blocked on Discord. We'll have a see. Okay, no.
No, it didn't.
We only got one that's blocked for this one. Okay, cool.
This one is called Interpol Untitled. That's the name of the song. It's by Sea Lego Films.
Yeah, this is really impressive. Like the lighting and funny enough, this would have been a really good entry to the summer contest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really love the lighting, the way in which the trees are kind of they're kind of going with the beat of the music. That's such a creative way of doing it, and something which I do kind of feel as well with when it comes to musical brick films, and also as someone who is not a judge of the summer contest, so this is completely just my opinion, but it is really important to like have to really just be inspired by the kind of vibe of the music, and kind of what that music kind of, what the image that you get in your head of what that kind of what a kind of music would be, rather than just like directly kind of like doing copying what is being said, like recreating what's being said. So this is a great example of that, where it's like we feel the emotions. That's a great way of describing it. I do think there was like certain points where when the characters are, there's like it holds on for a bit long, where it's just like kind of like just sort of standing there, and it kind of feels like there's a bit of repeating of just like when it kind of comes to actions of just like sort of like well, I guess it's kind of hard. I guess when it's just you're just following the music a bit.
That's true. I do see what you mean, but it's very stop and start. There's like moments of long slow motion, and then fast action, and then long moments where nothing is, or very little is happening. But I feel like that is sort of in service of the film almost. I'm really curious how he did that shot of the woman flying through the air after being hit by the car.
That one is very that was like a real standout. That shot. That I'm assuming it's done with like a rig, like maybe like helping hands or something. With maybe some wire or something. That's that's like, I mean, that's how I would do it, I guess. But it's I think that I feel like I've never attempted to do like like slow motion effects like that. I imagine it's quite hard. But I guess it's kind of just like very subtle movements on wands, I guess.
It's impressive because you have to make the movements so small, so tiny. So
and also as well with that, like because it's being kind of, it's on a rig, it's got to be so kind of like, you've got to be so particular with like how you're moving it, because like it's very easily like nudge it and it will kind of like not do what you want it to do, and it'll be a bit weird, so like but no,
it's an impressive film overall. There are a couple of like specific shots of when they're in the, I guess, standing across from each other in the forest, or maybe I think there's one shot where they're lying down next to each other in the forest, and a couple of those shots do feel a bit almost as if I wish he had taken a bit more care to maybe frame it a little different, or maybe add a bit more interesting lighting to it. There's a couple of tiny shots where I feel like could have been a bit more polished, but overall it's they stand out because the rest of the film is so well polished and so well made.
I'm just real quick. I'm just setting up the. We've
Right.
only got one video actually to watch. That's not playable on Discord. So
it's Defiance, right?
I guess for you on Bert, I could just, if you just have it ready, and just like we'll like 1, 2, 3. I'll post this on.
Ready.
I'll have the window open on OBS. but I'm just going to quickly set that up, open a new window. If you have any additional things you want to say, like while I about the previous film though, do let feel free.
I don't know what to say about this film, except for praise. So I think the lighting is really impressive. It's really atmospheric. It shows that you can do a lot with colored lights without it drowning out the whole scene in one color. It's not just red. It's not just blue. So I think he did a very good job balancing the colors. In this film.
Yeah, definitely. It's very really nice. I really like this one. This is actually.
I see some movement happening on stream, but I'm lagging behind 30 seconds, so I have no idea. If you're ready. I'm ready at least.
It's actually getting progress with it quicker than I thought I was going to. Actually, I think we're pretty much set up. I'm almost just work in progress. I'm just gonna position it in front of the watch together on Discord, so it's like I'm not blocking you on stream. But yeah, I think this should work. Okay, cool. And I'll just drag that down slightly, and then I think that's pretty much perfect. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay, so again, this is quite a long one. It's 5 minutes, so we probably won't play the entirety of the film, but we'll kind of we'll. By the way, I'll let you know, Bert, when we'll pause. So this is Defiance by Imaginator Productions, and we'll go live. I'd say are you happy to 3, 2, 1 go this?
I'm happy to 3, 2, 1 go this.
Okay, cool. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, go.
Another one made for Brick Film Day.
Yeah, we had quite a few actually.
Yeah, we've had 2 or 3 or 4 made.
Okay, cool. I think we'll just stop here.
Yep.
I just want to start off by saying that the incredible cinematography and the lighting is really great. I love it's just a perfect example of just motivated lighting and just like the color scheme of that is and the sets, everything on that kind of that front is really well done, really well crafted. There was definitely it's probably not like apparent like watching just this thing. I'd recommend people to watch the whole thing. But there's I think a point in the video where we kind of go through like this kind of montage that's kind of like a repeating kind of montage. And what I will say is that with that kind of thing, like, you know, it's there is a lot of repeated shots, and it kind of does go on for quite a long time, to a point where like it's may overstay its welcome a little bit.
I get what you mean. There's of course the I don't really want to spoil the ending of this film. I know Imaginator is in the chat, so I will say that so this basically the first half or the first 3 minutes are sort of like a setup of this is this guy's routine. This is the world he lives in. He wakes up early in the morning, goes to his job, whatever, and then at the end of the day he comes home. He looks out the window. There's a disobedience sign. So it's a lot of setup for this is his daily routine. This is the thing he's going through, and also this is the world he's living in. This sort of dystopian, cyberpunky almost world. But I agree with you that there's a lot of almost a lot of repetition, and it's difficult because there's a balance you have to strike between it is repetitious for a reason, because this is it happens, the days are all the same for him, but I do think there could have been a couple of different ways where you could have done that without making it tedious to watch, or maybe even almost boring to watch, or maybe boring is too harsh, but I feel like if you have like the scene where he wakes up and he gets out of bed, we see that 3 or 4, maybe 5 times. I feel like if you cut it a bit more fast each time, just shorten the scenes, maybe at the end you could even just like have him stand up, put it on, go out the door, done, and that's at that speed actually. So it's just like it's sort of 2-second deal, because you've already done all the setup of this is his routine. So instead of repeating the whole thing, you can just allude to it by shortening the sequence, or showing all the parts of the sequence, but shortening it overall.
I do want to highlight an example of something like this that was done really well. Have you seen Echoes of a Humdrum Existence by Eri Nomad?
Yeah,
like that's a really great example of a film like this, where there's a lot of repeating kind of like looped it's like a loop. It's like a loop of like you know, this guy's day, getting up, you know, having a shower, getting dressed, going to work, all that kind of stuff, and it repeats a lot. But what it does really well is that like the music kind of is accompanying it. It fits the kind of the pace and the kind of like the kind of build up of the music, and also it's like it's shorter. It gets shorter every day. It's a kind of like every time it's showing the day. It's like, and also it's like there will be variety in the loop. So there'll be certain things where like I think there's like one scene, like one of the times you see him like in his office job. He's carrying like a huge pile of like papers and like, slamming it on the desk. There's like one time where the music is kind of like getting kind of more like sort of intense, it's building up. We get a close up of that instead, and it goes like
exactly.
And it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of building up that kind of it's going with the kind of music, and you can see it's getting to a point.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that music is also a very important part of it. I do think that the music choice you used in this is, I think it's from Drive, that it's been used a lot. I feel like I've seen it a lot in brick films as well. And I think that sometimes that might kind of like, I think that I can understand your reasoning for using that, because it's like kind of that kind of high tech kind of cyberpunk kind of aesthetic that you're going for. But there's a lot of music that could go with that, and I think that you're kind of trying to use the track a little bit to a point where like you wanted to use the whole song, but it didn't necessarily kind of flow with the entire like the film, like the pacing kind of you didn't quite have like the kind of building up. There is one kind of like example where you follow the beats of the song, and there's like the kind of rain, and it kind of goes like it flashes between and that is
sort of different scenes, the same scene, different days, different weather. Like
that was a really good example of something that was, you kind of want to keep doing things like that.
Exactly.
But I do want to kind of like, and I don't want to talk about the ending too much, because I think it's worse people kind of get going and watching it and not want to spoil it. But I think the ending is actually really good as well. And it kind of there's a really good beginning and ending to this film, and for the criticisms that we have, I think that it's still like I hope that you get out of this that it is you did a really good job overall. Like it's
exactly.
There's some
it's a really good film. It's like the criticism I have is mainly because it's one thing that could have made it even better. It doesn't really. I don't say it because it's sort of takes away from the film, but I do think, if only I'd done this a little bit differently, it could have been even better.
Yeah. Before we end the stream, I do want to just double check, because I kept the submissions open. So
if there's anything new and unexpected.
Yeah, because I think we may potentially have another submission. Because now the submission form says it's 15.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna bear with me 1 second.
A surprise entry.
Yeah, I think we do have one. Yeah, cool. Okay, I'm gonna try and put this onto the watch together.
Yep.
Yeah, because I don't want to end the stream and then kind of like someone says, "Oh, but you forgot mine."
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I'm just going to quickly. Wait. Okay. I've got to try and remember how do we add to. Oh yeah, playlist. Okay, cool. Now.
I was about to say, I have no idea how this works. It's all you. It's all you.
It's 25 seconds long. Okay, so that shouldn't take us off our schedule too much.
Dude.
Okay, cool. So this is thank you for the sort of surprise submission. This is by Val Badgal, and it's like the band ? And yeah, here we go.
Dude, where am I? Hello. Congratulations on dying and reaching enlightenment. Welcome to Nirvana. Dude, no way. Like the band? Yeah, like the band.
Fun.
Nice.
I like that. Simple. simple, effective. I like the exaggerated animation.
Nice. I'm just gonna keep it on this frame because there were some really cursed recommended videos.
Yeah. We don't need to see that.
I'll keep it on this frame. Nice. Yeah, thanks for submitting that. Like it's very short, very to the point. But I like nice. I think I guess something I could say about that is that I do like that. I think it shows an example. Even if you make like a short film, like a very short film, you can have like a gag, a punchline. You can have like a beginning, middle, and end. Like that film, like even though it's like 25 seconds long, it did what it wanted to do, and like it kind of it is a film.
It's a full thing. Yeah.
Because I think sometimes people might get if you're starting out, especially, you might get a bit discouraged by like some of the kind of runtime like of these films. Like some of them are like 4 or 5 minutes long, and you might think that to make a film that it has to be like however long. But really, even it depends on what your goal is for a story.
Yeah.
If you think like in a small concept and just like you want to do a funny gag, it can be like 25 seconds long.
Yeah, exactly.
But this like something like that, where it's just like, So yeah, well, yeah. Thank you for submitting that. I'm glad that I was able to include that. I just so happened to double check that the submission form there.
We didn't miss anything. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's pretty much like it for the stream.
Yeah, that's gonna do it.
And we're only like about a quarter of an hour beyond our original schedule. But thank you everybody for keeping very like lively chat has been kept going, and I think that the atmosphere has been really nice. You've kept to the we were kind of aware of like wanting to keep the vibe good. There was one point when someone was I was a bit worried because someone got like really critical about the sound design of a film, and I realized they were talking about their film. I was like, oh, okay. It's okay then. But thank you so much guys for joining us, and
thanks for watching.
Consistent viewers, and you kept watching, and thank you everybody for submitting your films. This has been really great. But some really good film I really enjoyed watching through this playlist.
Yeah, we're probably going, or when I say we, I mean us Bricks in Motion people, are probably going to do another one in a couple of weeks or something like that. Keep an eye out on our Discord. If you haven't joined our Discord yet, join our Discord.
It's in the description down below.
It's in the description. We always announce, we always put a form on the Discord, and where you can submit your film if you want it to be reviewed in this.
So that's a very important point. Like if you want to have your film, submit your film to like the next episode of the workshop, you'll find the form on the Discord. Just repeating what Bert said, but just with more like stuttering and
that's always a good way to end the stream. Just repeat each other, and then the other one has to start up more than the first one.
But actually, on the note of like the next stream, I think we're hoping to make this like a monthly thing. So hopefully we'll have like another episode in about a month's time with some more like with some new guests as well. We're going to keep changing up the guests. So keep that in tune with that. And thank you so much, guys. And we'll end it here. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
got human cyborg relations and a case of severe constipation. Wake up, drink my boost without salutation. My bowels surrender like the French nations. Examine my gears, they're coagulating. Circuits all fry, man, I can't lie. Nuts and bolts run deep, can't deny. Bake a pie, eat the sky, Yoda's such a small fry. Fry, 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 fry. I got human cyborg relations and a case of severe constipation. Wake up, drink my boost without salutation. My bowels surrender like the French nations. Examine my gears, they're coagulating. Circuits all fry, man, I can't lie. Nuts and bolts run deep, can't deny. Bake a pie, eat the sky, Yoda's such a small fry. Fry, 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 fry. I got human cyborg relations and a case of severe constipation. Wake up, drink my boost without salutation. My bowels surrender like the French nations. Examine my gears, they're coagulating. Circuits all fry, man, I can't lie. Nuts and bolts run deep, can't deny. Bake a pie, eat the sky, Yoda's such a small fry. Fry, 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 fry.